Hey guys, welcome to the Money Mix podcast number 17. Thank you guys for joining us. I'm Al, that's Stan, and we have three stories for you guys today to go over. One of them is Twitter changing to Twitter X or X. Fed raises their stuff by another quarter, and Chick-fil-A is trying to upgrade their business. So the first story is Twitter changing to being called just X. What do you think of the stand? Do you think that
Well,
this is a good idea, or do you think that this is just a
yeah.
failed experiment?
No, I mean, I don't really like it. I mean, just X kind of sounds weird to me. I actually like what you said, Twitter X. I mean, I think that would be pretty cool. But just like,
I feel like people will be calling it that. To be honest with
oh,
you.
I hope so because it really sounds better than X. I'm
Well,
not sure exactly why he changed it to X. I thought it was just gonna be the corporation name. I'm not sure why you actually need to change. Like, is it really gonna be a switch from Twitter to X? Because I really feel like people will not want to call it X. I guess I don't know.
right. Uh, yeah. See, so I'm not actually sure on the name structure, just because I'm assuming they're not going to switch over from like, hey, did you guys send a tweet out? I'm
No,
assuming
you
no one's
send
going to be
X out.
saying, did you send an? Yeah, exactly. That's what I
Yeah.
mean. So I'm not exactly sure, uh, or I would put money that they're not changing that. I think that tweet is just so synonymous with Twitter that it's almost its own
Right.
thing. That it's just like that's where you're sending a message is called a tweet on this
Right.
platform.
But I do believe that they actually changed the logo from the
Yes.
bird to the X. I don't know. That's horrible in my opinion. Like, why would you do that? I mean, I think that Twitter is such a perfect name, and the bird is such a perfect symbol for something like that because
It definitely is
you know.
synonymous. It's definitely
Right,
synonymous with it.
right.
Yeah.
Like I get changing the corporation because he always wanted to call it X for some reason. Like even with PayPal, he wanted
Yeah.
to call it X.com or something like that. But I mean, I don't really like it.
Okay.
To
Okay. Okay. So
be
so first,
honest.
before we go on, I do want to mention at least his perspective, and his is an Elon Musk, his perspective and why he what he wanted to do. He wants to have a platform that can do everything. So Twitter won't be just for tweeting, it'll be for paying people with it, for playing games on it, for watching movies on it, for looking at pictures on, well, I guess pictures you could do that now, but it just basically he wanted an all-around casino style
Right.
where you can do everything on this one app, and X marks the spot in a sense. Like
X.
everything
Well,
on this.
that sounds good. You brought up another good sounding name. X marks the spot. Like he could have named it that. Like
But
this
still,
is
I feel like no one is going to be like, "Hey, did you go to X marks the spot?" I feel
whatever.
like that.
Then for sure they could call it X if they want to. But just to call it X, by itself, I really do think it takes away from the platform. But yet again, you know what I mean. The more you repeat it and people start talking about it, the more it sounds more simpler, easier to remember, and people will be like, I like it. I mean, it's
Um,
such a weird thing, but that's usually what happens.
I actually think I might be. I think I'm in the minority here, but I think that it's actually a good thing what he did, to me at least. I think that Twitter is so synonymous with the old regime and everything that now calling it X is so going to be synonymous with him, with Elon Musk.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And now when he adds anything to it, it's not going to be, people are not going to be calling it, oh, this is Twitter plus, right? Oh, now we could do videos. Oh, now you could do this. So it's Twitter and other stuff. Now it's
I
going to
I
be,
think
this is
you're
the X website.
I think you're on fire today. I mean, all those three names that you mentioned really sound good. Twitter Plus would have been better than
It
X
seems like
Plus.
you really hate X. You're
Well, I
just
don't
like,
hate it.
anything is better than X.
Well, I mean, like Plus would have been better, than X. Like because X, like I mean, okay, look, X in the Roman numerals stands for 10, and X, in the English language means used to be, right? I mean, I don't really like, that connotation. Plus is a really cool, name in my opinion. So he could have used that. It's similar to X,
Okay.
uh, when you look at it,
Let,
but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know
but
if
let
it's
me
gonna
ask you. But
work.
let me ask you from this one. Okay. So there's another company that is relatively a competitor to Twitter or X, uh, and that's Facebook. Facebook, very famously, Zuckerberg changed the name to Meta. Now,
Right.
do you how do you compare the two names, and who do you think, if either of them did it better, in the sense
Well, I
who's
mean,
who not,
right.
by the way, when I say better, I don't mean what sounds better to you. I mean, who do you think is going to benefit more from their name change, if
Well, I
if
mean,
either of them,
okay,
basically,
look, look, look,
if
look.
either of them will benefit?
X sounds cooler, sounds mysterious, right? He has the black logo for it. You know what I mean? Like in that sense, because it is mysterious, it looks more cooler, then you can give the edge to Elon Musk. Doesn't mean that I like the X as the actual name of the company, like as the
Right,
logo.
right. No, no. Okay,
I
okay, okay,
think
okay.
it's
You're
cool.
you're hold on,
Yeah,
hold on, hold on. I don't mean it from a cool perspective, though. I mean it from a business perspective. Who do
that's
you
what
think
that's what
will win out on this
well,
particular,
that's what
meaning like,
right.
in
That's what
in
I'm trying.
terms of in terms of the consumer, though?
Well, that's what I'm trying to say. I think the
Okay.
consumer likes the more cooler, hip type of name, look, and feel, as opposed to Threads. Probably sounds, more lefty and
Well, it sounds to me old. Threads
okay,
sounds to me like it's an old thing. Like, oh, what do you guys use? We use Threads, kind of
right.
thing.
Well, like what you just mentioned, and you said that he's trying to deviate from Twitter just being Twitter, right? Now he
Hmm.
wants to make it like a casino where you can send money, you can upload videos, you can probably chat, and do so many various things on the platform. Whereas opposed to Threads, it's just going to be pretty much like the old Twitter, right?
Right.
So, as far as the cool factor, I do like X as a logo. Don't get me wrong, but not as like a full name. So, like I said, like if you would have called it Twitter X, I think it would have been better. Use the logo as the X, maybe with a bird somewhere there. But yeah, as far as the two companies, I really do think that the name, the cool factor goes to Elon Musk, and I think people like Elon Musk more than they like Zuck.
Ooh, I don't know about, like, I
That's
feel like I feel like people like now it's almost like political sides. You have
sure,
Elon Musk, who's liked on the right and hated on the left, and Zuckerberg is
yeah,
kind
sure,
of liked on the
sure.
left, but definitely not liked by the right,
But okay,
for
but
sure.
who has the cooler factor to them? I feel like it's Elon Musk. He's coming out with
Oh,
Tesla,
for sure. Oh, yeah,
with
yeah. Oh, yeah,
with
yeah, yeah.
with
Yeah, yeah.
flamethrowers, and now the
Between, yes,
uh,
yes, yes. But okay, between the guy that's coming up with flamethrowers, as a car company is coming up with new stuff,
yeah,
versus Zuckerberg, the ultimate nerd, yes, the
right.
one is cooler. But we're not talking between. Okay, but
But
the
that's what the
conversation is not really
consumer is.
between the individuals. The
But
conversation is between
sure,
whose name is going to
right.
be more beneficial to them. So
But that's
not from a cool
yeah.
factor, but I mean
But,
from a beneficial
all right.
perspective. Because I mean, right now people still to this day call Facebook Meta. Oh, excuse me, call Meta Facebook, because they're so used to saying that. Most people are
Well,
like,
I
oh,
mean,
I went to Meta. It's like
right.
most people are not saying that. And obviously, right now, most people are still not saying X, even though it was just recently happened. It's still gonna take a while before anybody goes like, yeah, I went to X to tweet. Just
Well, that's what
uh
I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to get to, is the fact that the name itself, it just doesn't work. You know what I mean? As a logo,
okay, okay, hold on. But then
as something that
does it work from Meta then? Because
I think
you keep
so.
on saying X, but
So,
oh, you
I
think it does?
I think Meta is
Have
a
you
very
called it Meta yet?
no, because I mean, yet again, like they have to change it from Facebook to Meta, and they haven't. It's still Facebook.com. So I think that it's kind of awkward to actually call something something else when it still has the Facebook name on there. Do you know what I mean? Like you have to make that transition, and they haven't done that yet for some reason. But like I said, like I feel like Elon Musk has this persona of somebody who is, kind of like weird, funky, and mysterious. You know what I mean? All at the same time. And now he calls Twitter X, like X-Man in a sense. You know what I mean? That kind of like reminds me, or that's something that brings my mind to that attention. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I feel as though that he is building the cool factor of the company. And when you really look at it, I really do think that Twitter, I say Twitter, X is going to outdo Meta, just based off of that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I feel like when it comes to names, I feel like Meta was supposed to be the metaverse, right? That's what it's
right.
short for, right?
Right.
And obviously at this point it doesn't seem like that's happening, or at least anytime soon. So calling a company Meta when that's not a thing that's going to happen, at least for the next, I don't know, 10 years or so, if that ever actually does end up happening.
Oh no, I think it
I
will.
think I think I think it's a bust. Well, remember, I'm not saying there won't be any kind of verse in general, that there won't be like some universe, some digital. It just might not be Meta though. It might be some other ones. It might be Ethereum verse or whatever it is, you know.
Right.
Um,
Right.
but all I'm saying is, I think right now that name is looking kind of bad at the moment. I think that there's a lot of people going like, man, I think we might have rushed too fast with it. What we should have done is maybe make sure that people start using the metaverse and actually are in it and are happy with it, and then change everything to Meta. That would
Yeah.
have made way more sense. I think X at this moment is, unless somehow people stop using Twitter or X, I think that might be beneficial to them at the moment. But if people stop using it, I think that the name is going to look really, really shitty for it. I think there's going to be people who are be like, this is not something that, it's like, oh, they should have never changed the name or whatever. If instead it does actually become what Elon Musk believes it can, like in terms of it being a casino type of thing where people are using it for everything, and it becomes that, people are going to be looking at this moment and going, wow, he really thought this out. It was visionary and stuff like that. So I
Yeah.
think it's all about the outcome. And right now, Meta, the outcome right now isn't looking good for the name. X is to be determined.
Oh, I agree.
That's at
I,
least what I think.
I mean, he's trying to encompass everything. The cool factor is there. He's the face of it, and I really do think more people like him than they actually want to admit. I think that he's going to change the internet, with implementing cryptocurrencies as payments, and I think he really knows.
Your bias is showing.
I mean, I wouldn't say biased. I'm just more knowledgeable as to what the goal is.
Okay.
Because the goal really is to make commerce on the internet, much faster, much more reliable, and for people to be able to use it on the mainstream level. And I do really believe that X will deliver that, because they have the same vision as people who use cryptocurrencies. So I think that it's a game changer. The name, I think it's just a name, but the logo and the experience will solidify what he's trying to do. So I think that X will come up on top. So
Well,
that's my.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see when it comes um to the competition, at least that Twitter has. with Threads and with other smaller platforms, and like even Trump's Truth Network. They the competition does have an uphill battle, but at the
Well,
same time, yeah.
the
Yeah, go
thing
ahead.
is that if Trump gets elected again, then
Hmm.
obviously his platform will be more popular. But yet again,
Oh, I think it's the opposite. I think it's dead.
no. Oh, you think
If
it's
he
that?
if he gets if he gets elected, I think it's actually dead.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
because because I
All right.
feel like he's going to have to use something that that basically everyone uses, and I don't believe he's going to be doing it like on a particular platform, like meaning I don't think he's going to go to a platform where it's just like his people and right wing people, and it's only a certain type of right wing
Has
person.
has he
I've
been has he been reinstated on Twitter?
Yeah, he has.
Oh, all
I
right.
think like a few months ago, Elon Musk said yes, you could come back on, and I think Facebook as well. I think most of them
So,
already lifted their bans,
so it seems like
and he just has.
the only person that has not been reinstated is Alex Jones. Pretty much everybody else has been
Yes,
reinstated. That's hilarious.
yes, yes.
I think Alex Jones has to.
Today Kanye West was reinstated
That's that,
by
there you
Twitter.
go. There you go. So I guess Alex Jones has to have a podcast with Elon Musk, and Zuckerberg together, and kiss their ass, and then he can be reinstated again. So we'll see if that
Uh,
happens.
I I don't I don't yeah I don't know what's gonna happen there, but yeah, but
All
I
right.
think yeah, I think that X, at least for me, I'm looking at it as a positive thing. For him, I think in the future, but I think it all depends on whether
Hey,
Twitter is going to do well.
the only
So
thing
let's move
he
on.
has to do is become an X-Man, and oh my God, that's it. It's all over.
Professor X. There we go.
Oh, okay, Professor. I mean, just shave his head. That'll be perfect.
Hey,
Uh,
why not?
We're moving on to the next story, which is pretty big, and it seems like it hasn't been covered that much since it happened. The Fed raised the interest rates again, which is kind of strange, but I did predict that, a while
Yeah,
back.
I disagreed with you. I remember,
Yeah.
well, first, the Fed raised it by another 0.25. And I remember disagreeing with you on that. I really thought that the next moves are they're going to start, little by little reducing it,
Correct.
because we were already at a what, a 25-year high or something like that. And I'm like, oh, they're not going to go too far from that. But no, it
Correct.
just seems like they're keeping on, and
Well, we're 5-year high because right now it's 5.25, and they recently raised it, and it's the highest since 2001. So,
so
yeah.
it's a 22-year high. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but it's the reason why I thought they were going to continue raising even after they paused was just because I felt like there wasn't enough, things that broke. You know what I mean? Like there were two banks at least that failed, in this duration, but I felt like in order for them to actually stop and reverse, they needed to continue to progress, raising interest rates. So, and that's what they're really looking for. Obviously, they're saying they only want, a 2%, inflation per year. But, it was higher. Last time it was 3%, right? So
Yeah.
when they said 3%, I'm like, well, okay, well, if it's not 2%, they're gonna continue raising, right? So
Right.
it kind of like seemed like it was obvious, and not till something big, in my opinion, like a big bang breaks, that they'll have to like stop and say, listen, I think that's it. We raised the bar too high. We made a mistake. We're gonna have to either stop or reverse, actually, because more banks are gonna start to fail. People are not able to afford homes. Everything is going up in price. I think that's what's going to happen. And I think since we're in July, we have August, September, October. So I kind of feel like maybe two more interest hikes. I almost feel like we might end up at 6%. And I think that once it hits 6%, then we'll have that big breakdown, and then we will reverse. What do you think, Al?
Yeah, okay. I'm more before I get into that. I'm more actually kind of like I'm not trying to be like conspiratorial, but I'm curious. Anyone who's listening right now, did you hear about Fed raising the price hike or the rate hike? Because to me, I didn't hear about it. Like it was something I had to go out of my way to actually see. And while news channels did cover it, or not news channels, but news media in general, they did cover it. It was kind of like putting something on the third or fourth page of a news story instead of it being a major news story. I'm really curious if like it's like was this done on purpose where they were just kind of like, hey, you know what, just don't talk about this, like let people know if they were really looking for it, but we're not really going to make this into a big story because you know this like this does make the administration look bad because supposedly this reflects on how they're governing and all that kind of stuff. So I'm curious if there's anything like this going on where they're like specifically downplaying the story, or is it just me? Maybe people everywhere else somehow noticed the story and I completely missed it, even though I'm pretty into the news. So
Well, the
what do you
thing
think?
is, well, I don't know. I honestly don't know because I'm not necessarily spontaneously looking at financial news and finding out about this. I know every month, they have a meeting. They
Okay, like so for example, the story that we both just talked about, Twitter changing their name. We both heard of it, right?
Yeah, but
I
that's
didn't go out of my way to look. Okay, we both heard about the Chick-fil-A story that we're going to talk in a few minutes, but
right.
we both heard of that story, and that's way more minor than the federal, like
Well,
the Fed raising the rate, you
right.
know.
You might be right. You
So
might be absolutely right that it was something maybe they quickly displayed and they removed it. Because the thing is that they don't want for people to like notice something like this because this is like such a negative effect on the economy. You know what I mean? That's what I think. Because they
mhm.
keep raising it. They keep on raising it, and the prices on. I don't know about you, but I've been seeing because I've never really paid attention too much about grocery prices, but
Mhm.
lately I've been seeing like ridiculous prices on things, like a jar of mayonnaise, and this might be me, I don't know, like a decent size jar of mayonnaise, like $12. You know what I mean? Like
Whoa,
yeah, like
$12?
yeah, like a small one you can get for like three something, but if you want if you want to buy like a
When
big
you say large, are you mean like gallon size large, or
no
you mean
no no no
how
no
big are we talking about when you're saying large?
Well, I would say, the size of like a sauerkraut can, you know what I mean? Like something like that.
Okay.
The average size of it, at the store, not the small one, but the average. I don't know how many ounces it is, but yeah, mayo is like $12. Um,
Sorry. What store did you see that at? Because I don't know if maybe I
yeah,
haven't bought mayo in a while, but
right.
I didn't notice that.
No, multiple stores. I saw it.
Multiple stores just saw $12
Yeah,
mayo. Like
yeah,
regular mayo. We're not talking about like,
regular.
like Whole Foods, like, hey, this mayo has been massaged by therapists and stuff like that.
No,
Nothing
no,
like that.
no, like regular mayo, and it's not only mayo. Like I'm trying to like think about other things as well. Eggs are not that cheap either. I
Okay.
think they were like some eggs were like $5, $6 now. Some of them are like $12. I mean, it really depends which brand you actually buy eggs. But definitely things are much more expensive than they were before. Like next time I'll, take a note of what I'm really like focusing in on. But yeah, it's not cheap. And
Yeah.
what about
Yeah,
ordering
go ahead.
food? What about ordering food now? If you order food for two people now, we're talking about delivery, you're
Mhm.
paying like at least like $50. I mean, that is expensive. I don't know. That to me is expensive.
I feel like I do separate those two because I do feel like when it comes to like food deliveries, the food delivery business raised everything during COVID and they
Yeah.
never let go of that. And I think that that's the reason why we're still seeing ridiculous amount of prices. There's still businesses who are like like I remember I saw a Pizza Hut. This is like not that long ago. My niece was just picking up some pizza and she's like, "Huh, there's like a weird fee here," and it was like I think $2 or $3, and I'm like, "Oh, what's the
Okay.
fee?" So she's like, "Okay, so they have a service fee, they have a they have for the delivery, they have a service fee, they have a delivery fee, and they have another one, and I forgot what it's called specifically, but it was like
Benefits or
some
something.
helpful fee, something or other." And then like she clicks on it and she finds out that this is to compensate because California is charging a lot per hour to compensate on the salaries of the employees. That's literally what the fee is for.
How much? Okay, how much did she spend on? Was it one pizza or?
No, I think it was like two pizzas and some other stuff. So it was like I think it was like probably around like 40 some dollars, maybe something like that.
Okay, but that's not as much when you really think about it because
Well, remember, pizzas are supposed to be like the least expensive. Meaning, if you go pick up the pizza, you're actually paying way less. You could
right.
get a pizza for like $10 easy.
I don't know about $10. Yeah, that's a stretch now. Maybe Domino's
No, no,
still
no, no, no. 100%. You could go to Domino's or Pizza Hut and probably Little Caesars. I haven't been there in a long time, but I'm pretty sure there
yeah,
too.
Little
You could.
Caesars. Yeah, for some reason Little Caesars is less expensive than most. That's for sure.
Yeah, but Domino's does still have the 6.99 pizzas if you get two of them. Six ninety
Remember
nine
it
each.
was remember it was 5.99.
Yes. Yeah, but $1 more for a whole pizza?
Sure,
That's
sure.
still a steal. And by the way, we
I
we've obviously left the whole
No, no,
Fed
no,
hike,
no,
but
no, no,
yeah.
no. We haven't because every time they hike up the interest rates, the prices on groceries and food they go up. Oh, I'll give you an example.
Yeah, but we're not, Domino's the delivery doesn't fit
Right,
into
that's
that.
true.
So,
I'll give you another example just recently happened, and I really do think it's because of it. Maybe not necessarily directly,
mhm.
but I think it has something to do with it, and that is, rice right now is going up in price. Like I
Oh, I
remember,
heard about that, yeah.
yeah, I remember like rice was maybe like $30 for 20 pounds.
Hmm.
Now it's like $10 more or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, India like is temporarily banning the export of rice to the United States, but that doesn't change what the current price is. It's not that just happened this past week, but the
Yeah.
prices were there before, and yeah, and bread. Have you seen prices on bread?
Yes, I buy bread
Oh
too.
my God, bread is expensive now. It's crazy.
Well, the
How
thing is,
expensive bread is.
I just want to mention that like the weird thing, and I'm sure you've seen articles as well, where it's sounding when you listen to the news at least, it's sounding that the recession is like we're coming out of the recession. Like these numbers are all looking like we're coming out of like I keep on hearing stories and stories about that, and I'm like, I almost feel like whatever they're saying, it almost sounds like, wait, are we going back into the recession? What's going on? Because it like the like when you actually talk to people when it comes to pricing of anything, almost it just seems like it's going the complete opposite direction,
Yeah.
and places are just charging more. People are obviously theft in like supermarkets and all kinds of stores is on the is on the up and up. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
I definitely agree.
like I don't even know like your prediction right now in next month or 3 months, do you think we're going to see uh, the Fed, go up again, the rate go up again, or do you think it's going to
Well,
stay
I
or go
think
down?
I think we're gonna go up to like 6%. Okay. So we have approximately 75 more basis points,
Hmm.
more to go, and I think they're gonna probably stop at around 6%. I think that it's probably gonna happen by this December, and by next year, they're going to reverse. That's my perspective, because they can't keep on going and raising interest rates like this for a very long time without businesses, like not even talking about like small businesses. We're talking about like major businesses who are banks and other companies, even tech companies, going under. So they're just waiting pretty much for something huge to fail, and then swoop in and pretty much try to save the day, like they like to, and
Right.
just say, listen, guys, we made a mistake. This time we're gonna make it right. You know what I mean?
Ooh.
That's pretty much
Yeah.
what they're gonna do.
Right.
And
No. Yeah.
there's gonna be a lot of people who are gonna lose their jobs again, who are not gonna be able to pay for their mortgages, and food is gonna be really expensive. So if you don't have assets, gold, silver, cryptocurrency, or stocks or anything like that, then you're going to suffer. I mean, it's simple as that, not financial advice, but usually those are the people that are going to be suffering the most.
Yeah, that is true, but there's a reason for that, right? I mean, because that means if you don't have anything else, like meaning you don't have the income to buy, meaning you're one of those people who's living paycheck to paycheck, and you don't have the luxury to buy those things. So I mean, it's
Right. But
technically always true that the people who
yeah,
don't have anything else, that
yeah.
they'll suffer way more under a bad economic environment.
Well, they're going to be flipped upside down, because there's a good chance they're going to lose their job, and they're going to have to use the money that they already have in their savings account to just survive. And by the time asset prices start to go up again, then they're not going to be able to get in.
Well, okay, so with that, I would say is they don't have to worry, because at that point, everybody's going to get their own robot, and they're going to be doing everything for them. So
Yeah.
technically, you should be sitting, and the robot's going to be doing everything. They'll build a house for you, whatever.
Okay, that'll be
So,
nice. That'll
all
be
right,
nice.
okay. So since we already started talking about some fast food places and everything like that, let's move on to
Chick
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A is trying to innovate their business so they can actually process more orders at one time than in a traditional fashion. So they're building a 4-lane high-tech drive-through that will serve pretty much 4 times more people. And in my opinion, what they're trying to accomplish by that is having less people, spend time inside, and more people driving through, and gaining more business out of that. What do you think, Al?
Yeah, I personally disagree with at least a portion of what you're saying. I believe that they're doing it because if anyone has ever gone to Chick-fil-A, you know the long wait that you have to be like excuse me, a Chick-fil-A drive-through. The wait that you have to be in the car, the lanes coming outside of the actual drive-through, where like literally streets are backed up sometimes because people are trying to come into the drive-through. So I believe that this is a way to help out more customers in a faster process. And at the same time, if you want to come in, sure. I don't think that they're going to like stop anybody, or they really care about that. I think their goal is primarily to get like, so there's like you could have a lot more cars coming through all at the same time. I think it's a smart move, but it really does depend on how much that ramp, the new futuristic thing that they're trying to do,
Well, I
is
mean,
really going to cost them.
no, I sure, but if they can get 4 times more business than they usually get,
But
approximately,
will
like, we
they?
don't know,
Right, right,
right?
right.
That's
The
it.
question
Yeah,
is, will they? Will they actually get like with
right.
this process? Will they get more business, or will they get the same business that is just going to be processed faster?
Right. Yeah,
That's
that's
the
true.
question.
Yeah.
Like,
I
you
think
did, hold on. I just want to mention really quick. You did mention that you're one of those people who, like, if you see a big line, you're gonna leave, right? You're not gonna wait for it. So
yeah.
I could see people like you who feel that way, go like, oh, well, there's not a line, I'll go there. So I
Yeah.
could see business being up because of that.
Exactly.
But
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. That's exactly what I'm thinking because you go to a fast food place like In and Out, and you know, the only reason I would go to In and Out, and it wouldn't be because of me, because my wife would want to go or somebody else would want to go
Mhm.
in company. But for me to wait for such a long time in a drive-through line to just get food, I would definitely bypass that. I would rather actually order it online if I could. But if I saw a place that had, four different lanes and probably a easier way to check out than having to communicate with somebody, then yeah, I would rather go there. Well, because
well, well,
you're
you're gonna have
getting,
to.
yeah,
Unfortunately,
it's
you have to communicate, dude. Just giving
well,
a heads up.
well, you might not at Chick-fil-A because it's going to be high tech, and it's
What do you
going to.
think? What do you think is gonna be AI?
Well,
No, they're
no,
not gonna.
no. I mean, if you need some help, then obviously you should be able to ask for a person. That's not what I'm saying. But because sometimes when people take down your order, they don't do it correctly. That's pretty much what I'm trying to say. And especially in the fast food world, oh my god,
Oh,
how many times did I not get what I ordered, or I got something else, or they didn't leave this out, or they didn't include
I
that, right?
okay. I just want to mention something though about that. If you think that they're going to give the ability for us to order, like say on a touchpad or something like that, I I could only imagine how bad that would be. Like
uh,
me and you, who are like a little bit tech savvy, will get through it very
wait,
quickly, no problem. But
wait.
can you imagine a grandmother going like
Grandmother's not
she's
going through a drive-through. What are you talking?
why wouldn't you? Okay, anyone who's not like I see right now, I see people going to check out, like self checkout at a Ralph's or something like that. I
Grandparents
and
are
I see there's people who are stuck there, not knowing at all what to do. I'm like, it's the same process every single time. Unless it freezes on you, you
all right.
should never need help. But that's not the case. I see constantly people being stuck, going, "What do I do?" And you do that
Why are
at
they
a
going there?
drive-through.
Why,
It's bullshit.
well, why are they going there? Are they idiots or something like that? Why do they try to use a technology?
No, the smartest people are going through drive-throughs. Yes, there's smart people, they're dumb people. What are you talking about?
No,
Yes, there's the dumbest people that will go through there, and they'll create more congestion if you go like, "Hey, here's a tablet. Pick what you want."
right. Well,
Oh, okay. I clicked. It's like, "Sir, you ordered 10 drinks." Oh, I just pressed it. I thought it was stuck. It's like, I feel like as soon as if they do try that, I feel like they're gonna stop it very quickly and go like, all right, they'll rather have, and I'm sure people have seen this where they have like somebody come out and they'll actually walk up to your card like, and what would you like? And what would you like? And what would you like? And they
right.
just take your order for you, and then they just go back.
You
So,
know
yeah.
the
What?
automated systems where you put in your ticket to drive out of the mall. I remember like there were moments, actually quite a few when I really think about it, where for some reason like I got stuck, right? Like I know I paid for it or something like that, and just the system wouldn't take it, and there's nobody there. But they had a button. I pressed the button. I told that person, this is what I did, and they just opened it for me, right? So I'm assuming, there's going to be somebody there,
Yeah.
either through a teleprompter or in person, that will be able to guide you through it. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm pretty much trying to say. And old people should not be going through drive-throughs. That should just be a ball.
I'm pretty sure as soon as Chick-fil-A builds their station, they'd be like, no, old people.
The old people, get the fuck out.
No, yeah, no. I feel like that the like especially Chick-fil-A is very well. They're openly like religious, a religious restaurant. They're
I thought you were gonna say they're openly gay. I'm like, wait a second, what?
No. They're the opposite of that. They're like openly like we don't believe in gay marriage. That's what they're openly about.
Right.
But
But how are they doing so well? Are the gay people also going there? Like,
yes, that's the thing. It
that's
came
interesting.
out and they thought like when the news years ago broke that they're like, hey, they're anti-gay marriage and stuff like that, people thought, oh, that's it. People are going to be anti-Chick-fil-A. But then, like, gay people and everybody else is like, yeah, but their stuff is so good, and people are just want like, screw it. And that's basically where it is right now. People are like, yeah, I don't care if they don't like. And by the way, in all honesty, we should change. Like in general, the news and everybody else should change. We should never go like, Chick-fil-A hates gay people or something like that. No. It's the owners that do. The
Oh,
vast
right.
majority of the people working there, I feel they have their own opinions. I promise you, they're not like all for or against gay marriage. They're just normal people who have their own beliefs. And
Right.
it's like if like McDonald's CEO comes out and says, we don't like uh, Jewish people or something like that. He's not speaking for every person in McDonald's. He's speaking for himself. And when they bring
Right.
up the news about these companies, just go like, hey, the CEO
Oh,
of McDonald's hates Jews. So we know who to hate. We don't hate McDonald's for it. We hate the guy.
you
That's it.
you 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 picked the wrong religion to say
That's true.
that.
I was just like like going
Yeah,
like which
exactly.
one should I go? Whatever, Jewish. I'll just say Jewish. But
Right.
it's whatever group that somebody doesn't like, or
Yeah.
something that they don't like. Just call the individual that's saying that instead of saying the whole entire company feels this way. That's
Right.
crazy.
I
Like
agree.
you're talking about thousands of employees.
But
All of them feel the exact same way.
right. Well, I think that Chick-fil-A with this high tech you know, change to the way that they're going to be doing business. At least, this is going to be a test run. It's going to be run next year. I mean, they'll be able to figure out whether this works or not. I mean, I think the more options, the more
Yeah.
comfortability, the better it is just in general. But can you imagine if that won't be enough? And they're just gonna get so much business. They're like, oh shit! Like we're having just as much business with one lane as we're having with four lanes. I mean that would be interesting to see if that would happen.
I think maybe for that one particular place, since it's going to be new, it probably will get way more business.
Yeah.
But if they would like, I don't know if they'll need to do that for every single location. But to me, and the reason why I started with the prices, I remember finding out how much like a business like a KFC might like in a bad neighborhood might have like a bulletproof like glass, right?
Yep.
So just to be safe, they put that in. I always thought that that was an inexpensive thing. I find out that that could be up to like half a million to $1 million.
Oh
Just
my
the
god.
bulletproof glass could cost
That
that much, right?
that I rather just invest into McDonald's French fry, franchise
Right,
somewhere.
right, right. Or pick a different location potentially even, right? Because it's like if I have to invest, because remember that's not counting everything else. That's not counting the location that you're paying for. It's not counting their employees. That's just an extra thing that you have to pay for as a business owner, right? So this, what they're describing with Chick-fil-A, is way more than that. I'm assuming this is probably going to be in the tens of millions of dollars, right? So at that point you're
Well,
like, is it worth it? Maybe in the next 10 20 years it might, but
I
it's gonna be
don't
a
know.
while.
I don't know if all Chick-fil-A's are able to do this, just because
Oh, the
that
location.
well that yeah, I mean that requires a lot of space, right? And I'm
Right.
not sure if yeah, so I'm not sure how they're going to roll that out. You know what I mean?
Unless they do it like going up, meaning if they make lanes, you know how like one lane goes normal, then one could go up and another one go even further up. And if you kind of like make a multi-story drive-through in a sense.
That would be
But again,
weird.
again, that's
Yeah.
me making it up because it's not what they said. I don't know exactly how they're
Yeah.
gonna do it, but
That would be weird, and that would
yes.
probably cost more to do essentially than just widen. out, the actual lanes. But yeah, that's
Wait,
actually.
wait, but do you really think that's the way they'll go? Do you think that they'll just widen the lanes and that's it?
Well, I mean, that's what I'm trying to say is that, they probably don't have the space to do that. So
Right.
I'm just thinking about it right now. Well, wait a second. How are they going to be able to do it? They're going to have to restructure every Chick-fil-A. And I don't know. Now that I
Right.
think about it, is that even like a possibility to even do something like that? Like,
I just thought I honestly thought that the way that they were going to do it was more kind of going up instead of going wider. Because wider, you're right. There's no way to do it wider. But going
yeah.
up, you could potentially, as long as the city allows it, you could potentially just go up and make multiple kind of like
I don't
vantages or whatever you want to call it.
like trying to like envision something like that. And I'm like, I can't really like,
I'm thinking the way that I'm envisioning it is almost like a parking lot, but that circles around the building instead. That's kind of the way I'm envisioning it, but I have
oh,
no clue what
so
they're
they
thinking. Maybe they're doing lifts for all I know. Like
no,
your car
actually,
gets somewhere, it lifts.
no, maybe you're right. Maybe they convert the actual parking lot into, those four wide lanes. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, that
Well, no,
definitely
well,
work.
well, remember they still need a parking lot because I mean, they're not closing it out for people to come in, so people will want to park and come in. So they still need that area as well.
Right, right, right. But maybe they're going to decrease that area because some restaurants they have really like a small space, like they might have like five or six parking spaces. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And that's
Right.
due to because they have a small amount of land, but they can do the same thing. They can just have like a few dedicated spaces, and then pretty much it almost forces people to actually go through the drive-through as opposed to like go in, right? Because like if you see that that's taken up, you're like, well, I still want Chick-fil-A, right? So I feel like that will potentially like also bring in more people through the drive-through. So,
Right.
but
Right.
another thing is I don't understand why these type of places they don't do delivery. Like drive-through makes a lot of money. I get that, and it's such a innovative idea
Hmm.
in general. But like right now, delivery is pretty big as well, and these companies could easily afford to hire people to go out and do deliveries, right? Because I mean that will definitely increase, their revenue. I mean, don't you think? Because look at pizza. Pizza is mostly like delivery. Wouldn't you say that?
Yeah, yeah, no, it definitely is, but that but that's the thing with Pizza Hut, it's literally like delivery. Like
Yeah,
there's very few people that actually go to Pizza Hut to eat there.
well, that's
So
the thing.
whereas I feel like this is kind of like you're on the go and you're doing that. And by the way, there is an option, of course, for delivery. You could do Uber Eats or whatever other service that goes
But
and
they
picks it
don't
up for you.
all. I don't think they all do everything. You know what I mean? Like, there's
No,
certain
no, no.
places. Yeah, there's certain places like Uber Eats doesn't do, Grubhub doesn't do. So it's like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I feel like Chick-fil-A is big enough that they would be almost crazy not to do Chick-fil-A.
right. But there's also another factor because sometimes the food when it arrives cold and like it doesn't taste all that good. Like you remember like Domino's, they created
Yeah, the heat bags or something
the
like that.
heat. You exactly the heat bag, and every time they delivered the pizza, it was always hot,
That's
right?
true. Hmm.
So I feel like if it's just like a Uber guy who's delivering it, then it's gonna be kind of like, well, it's kind of like cold. You know what I mean?
Doesn't I don't really use Uber Eats. Does do you know if they have like like a container that they put stuff in that
I
is
don't,
like a thing
I
that
don't
keeps
think
the
so.
heat or no? No?
But I actually use DoorDash on Grubhub, and I know for sure that they don't.
They don't. Okay, okay. So yeah, so okay,
Yeah,
so probably Uber Eats doesn't either.
right.
Uh, but
So that's the
but that
thing.
is kind of weird. I would imagine for them, if that is your service, that you wouldn't just provide that one thing. Like here, there's like a like let's say a rectangular bag. You put everything inside of it, and then you
Yep.
make your deliveries, and just take it out as soon as you're there. That's kind of
I,
weird that they wouldn't offer that.
I know. I know. That is weird when you really think about it. And I think that's another reason why like you can't order and I never knew this, but then it came to me like, oh, it's out of the area, right? Out of the area range. So if there's some restaurant that you really like and they do delivery, but they don't do it to your area, it's most likely because it's out of the range. Because by the time that they deliver the food to you, you won't like it because it'll be cold, and then
Right.
you're gonna leave a bad review, right? So that makes perfect sense. So
Well,
I think for Chick-fil-A, this might be actually a game changer, and so that will do well for the company. I mean,
yeah.
yet to see.
Um.
So
Right. I'm giving my 2 cents really quick. I'm just gonna say that I think that it only is a game changer if it doesn't cost them an arm and a leg to do it. If this is 10, $20 million, I don't think that it's feasible for most places. I don't think it's like, especially if you're a franchise, I don't think that this is something that you will do. You'd rather just have a constantly busy place than have it not be so busy and potentially maybe even get more customers, but have to pay 10, $20 million to get this done. But
yeah,
that's
I
basically kind of where I'm at with that.
I agree with you, and I am probably at this point at the hungriest I've ever been on a podcast before, talking about all this food and
Yeah.
the fact that I haven't eaten pretty much the whole entire day. I might just have to go and grab some Chick-fil-A, and it's
Uh,
not advertising or anything like that. Not financial advice. Not
Oh, how's that even financial advice? I'm
no, no. I'm
hungry. I
saying
want Chick-fil-A.
generally.
Don't
No,
take this financial.
I'm saying generally, this podcast is not financial advice, and nor is it food advice.
Yeah, or it's not sponsored by Chick-fil-A
There you go.
just yet, but soon,
Oh,
soon. I mean, how much we
hopefully.
talked about Chick-fil-A? They should probably sponsor us, so I
Yeah,
don't mind that. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for joining us again. I hope you guys to see you next week, and if you guys could like and do all that other fun stuff, it'd be awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.